It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Nielsen, Gage, and Cass with you once again, as always, brought to you by our friends at Coolbet Canada. Sign up for an account today. They're super busy because gambling, single game betting became illegal in Ontario today. So Ontario, it's funny to me because now everybody's like, everybody's going to start betting in Ontario. Like everybody wasn't betting in Ontario already anyway. Now they just have to do it in a slightly different way. So if you're not yet signed up for an account at Coolbet, go to coolbet.com and just sign up using the bonus code 2GUYS, number 2 in the word guys. You'll get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. What do you guys think of the new look? What do you think of this? The three ways, like I like it. I don't mind it actually.
I like the graphic. I think it's good.
Hey, look at you guys over like this.
Yeah, that is kind of it's a Brady. It's a Brady Bunch thing. Gager, what do you think? It's I don't know. Cass, you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I was just about to tell Gage, I'm not going to reveal to you my F1 fantasy team that I know nothing about F1 in. So I pulled that roster up here too, so I can kind of give you a sneak peek. But
yeah. Buddy, you know how many guys I play fantasy football with that don't know anything about football? They still play. It doesn't matter. You'll be okay there. Cass, your mic seems a little quiet. I don't know if you're connected through the computer right now or what, but you can check that out.
I should be. Let's try that there. Is that
better?
Yeah,
there you go. That sounds pretty nice. I like it. That looks good.
Too far away.
First episode post Hernan. We had him for 216 episodes, but he's now with the Edmonton Elks. So it's just the three of us trudging on here with Two Guys and a Goalie, brought to you by Coolbet. And no shortage of things to discuss, boys, obviously. And we'll get to everything that we got to talk about. We got a nice little discussion here. I did want to point this out. Cass, I acquired this via trade from one of my crack packers. This is a Matt Cassian PSA 10 rookie card. What do you think of this?
Pretty beautiful. You want an autograph on that?
It's already been in the case, so I guess you could sign the outside of it. That would be about it. Do you have one of these?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have a
Not
lot
in
of
a case like that, though.
If it was me, I'd have like 100 of my own rookie cards.
I don't know how many I have. We got my little memorabilia box that's still packed up. Like, because I have one or two that I know is out. Like I have my first goal puck and that sort of thing out. But I don't know how many total I have. I have a bunch of them, 20 or 30 probably.
Gage, you got your rookie cards kicking around or what?
Yeah, but that bum Jason Bond Sr. is in the background, so I was hoping he would have a much better career so I could get a double signature on that bad boy, but he made the value even plummet even further. So just call him the Tin Man when he played, just no heart.
Just no heart at all, eh? That guy, as far as biggest busts ever go, he's on the list. How long did you play with him for?
Too long, really. I'm harping on him a little bit, but he was a different individual. He was in love with Mario Lemieux. And if you were to walk by a rink and see him skating and stuff, he mimicked everything like Mario. It was fascinating actually. He couldn't pass the puck on his backhand, but he skated like Mario. Even his shot is kind of like Mario too. He had some skill, but man, he just when Mario was on the TV, it was like he would just stop. And I remember I was in a room with him once, and they had some Mario highlights going. He's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, good job, buddy." And I go, do you know this guy? No. So it was a weird relationship with him and Mario, and the careers didn't follow the same path. Let's just put it that way.
Do you think that's why the Oilers took him so high? They're like, this guy loves Mario, and he's big. He's gonna have to be the guy.
Yeah, of course they did. Everyone said that. He was like the Yakupov of that year, right? Like everyone thought this was the next. What they didn't realize was Ethan Morrow was his winger in junior, and he did all the work and got Jason the puck in the slot, and all he had to do was shoot it. Really, it's funny. There's another funny story because as kids growing up, you got the uber talented kid, and obviously Jason was one of those, and I forget the other player, but they were in Rochester going to another like game as kids, and one of the dad said, "Hey, Jason, you gotta get in the corner and get that puck out." And Jason's dad, who was a famous motorcycle racer guy,
okay.
he said, "Whoa, stop that. Jason's far too talented to go into the corners." So, he came by it honestly. It was bred into him. So, but I'm coming up with all these funny Bond Senior stories. We should try to get him on. I remember we were on the bus going to like Albany, and he had bought a racetrack, and he couldn't wait to show us this racetrack that he bought because he does this motorcycle stuff with his dad. So
he bought like a full-blown racetrack.
Full-blown dirt racetrack. Yeah, and so we're going down the highway, and essentially we're all on one side of the bus, like looking out the window, trying to see it. And Jason's like, "Here it is." And it was the biggest dump I'd ever seen in my life. Like, it was just tires all over the place, weeds growing, like the whole stand looked like it was tilted to falling apart. And oh my God, the rest of the trip, everyone just ripped him for buying just a piece of crap racetrack. So it was
He's living the dream.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so that was good stuff coming out of a Cass rookie card. It was ended up being a pretty good segment. That was nice. I like how that came about. Before we get through, I'll talk about it. I mean, guys, let's just dive into the game last night. Pretty convincing, dominating performance from the Oilers, start to finish. Leon Draisaitl heavily into the board, stays in the game. Obviously had a little bit of a limp going, but he scores his 50th, gets his 100th point. Cass, we kind of talked about it on my show today, but I think Todd after the game said that it was looked like a bruise, and he kind of just played through it there. With the way he went into the boards, Charlie Horse bruise, like what was that? Do you think?
Yeah, it was absolute Charlie Horse thigh contusion, probably in the knee area. There's that muscle to the left of your knee, and that's where it looked like it hit. My first thought when he went in was, there's something structural there, just because of the little wobble beforehand. You didn't know if something went in that moment, but I think it was more impact based, the way that he was skating, the way that he looks, and those hurt. Like it's hard to push. They just take time. They're not long-term issues or anything, but as I think I told you on the show, I mean, typically how they treat them is, a lot of ice and heat contrast to try to get blood moving through, to try to get any of the swelling down and out of there, and then you almost wrap them up tight, so it's like you have your leg in it's like in a fetal position with like
back like that, almost bent,
bent as much as you can, just to keep it so you can retain full motion. Because the problem with those is, there's the pain issue. So like if it hurts too much to push, that's something obviously you can work through. The second problem would be just your range of motion, because if you don't have a range of motion to give a full push because of the swelling, it becomes an issue. So they have to do management of the swelling on the knee and of the muscle, and make sure they get all the swelling out of there. So that'll be what it is, to see if he can go for Thursday. He should be okay. They have a day, really 2 days to work on it, so he should be fine. It's just something where it could slow him down a little bit for a game or two.
Gager, even if he was slowed down, I mean, him scoring the 50th goal was your prototypical Leon Draisaitl goal, was it not? I mean, it was great feed by Kulak, by the way. I mean, all the way from the left point down, almost near the goal line in that right corner. But that was your. I mean, if you watch Draisaitl this year, he's got 15 goals like that. Like that was the perfect 50th for Draisaitl.
I mean, you talk about great goal scorers in their spots, and Stamkos and kind of Ovechkin have made their living on the other side of the ice at the tops of the circles, and a little bit lower, I think, for Stamkos. But the one thing it's really amazing about where Draisaitl stands is it's not a place where you normally shoot the puck from. Even on one-timers, because the angle is so off and so weird, and it's quite ingenious actually, because the other team, no one wants to go out that far to guard him there, but he's so dangerous from that position. It just should open up so many other options for the Oilers. But unbelievable shot again. Seeing that paddle, the way it comes off his stick, it's so weird. I would actually be curious to get on the ice with Leon and see him shoot with that big, huge paddle to see where the puck actually leaves his stick. Because sometimes it looks like he just kind of flops it out there and it hits like off the toe, but it's just a rocket. So good for him. Another 50. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal season so far. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's been absolutely outstanding. The Hart Trophy discussion's kind of popped up again. I kind of discussed a little bit with Pierre LeBrun today, and a bunch of people from Toronto were kind of pissed off that I pointed out that Marner is also a very good player playing with. I mean, he's got 1.37 points per game. I mean, Marner's having a phenomenal season as well. Anyway, our friends at Coolbet have laid out the current Hart Trophy odds. So let me just give you these. Mm-hmm. Matthews is the favorite, just ahead of McDavid. Matthews is a plus 170. McDavid's is plus 180. Shesterkin's plus 600. Huberdeau's plus 1,000. And then you got Johnny Gaudreau at 11-1. Draisaitl is down at 12-1. Ovi's 15-1. Makar's 4-1. McKinnon's 50-1. Kaprizov's plus 5,000 right now. There's no sign of Roman Josi here. I don't know what's going on with Roman Josi, but would you guys think this is? Cass, I'll go to you first here because I think we've said multiple times on the podcast that this is going to Matthews this year. But do you think McDavid or Draisaitl will have a chance to steal this thing away? Like, what if Draisaitl scores more goals than Austin Matthews? Are you still going to give the Hart Trophy to Austin Matthews?
That's impossible. Dusty, that's impossible. It's impossible. Austin Matthews is the best player in the world. There's no one that even comes close. Connor McDavid is like basically the type of player that I was to Connor McDavid. That's the type of player Connor McDavid was or is to Austin Matthews. There's no comparison. Austin Matthews is the best. He will score 80 goals this year. I don't care that there's only a few games left. No one else is going to touch him, and anyone that thinks that he should not be the number one vote for the Hart Trophy is absolutely insane. You're insane. Doesn't matter if Leon Draisaitl would score 30 goals more than him, but it doesn't matter because Austin Matthews scored them better and his count more than Leon Draisaitl. So, what you say is not relevant because Austin Matthews is the only one who can and will and deserves to win the Hart Trophy.
Gage, you got another angle on this? Go ahead, Jess.
But seriously, I just hope so badly that Draisaitl beats him in goals because then that narrative completely falls apart.
Actually, it was pointed out to me today that Austin Matthews is also one of the best defensive forwards in the league and should be getting Selke consideration, even though he doesn't penalty kill. And I'm not sure anybody's ever won the Selke without penalty killing.
Yeah. He's really good. Austin Matthews is a really good player.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to go to whatever kind of stretch they have to try to give him the Hart. Should he be in the conversation? Absolutely, he should be in the conversation. Do I think he's like a runaway favorite to win it? No, he shouldn't be a runaway favorite to win it. As you said, look at what Yossi's doing. And how is he not even really in a lot of people's conversations right now? When you could argue that he should be the number one guy right now as a front runner here. So yeah, it's just the media, the weird stuff. Toronto, I don't know,
media
what do you think?
Striking again. Gager would if Draisaitl leads the league in goals and McDavid leads the league in points, which is certainly very possible right now. That doesn't matter, does it? Like Matthew's still going to get it.
I hope it's closer than what they say it is. Because to me, winning an MVP award I know it's not supposed to, but I think there is an element of the team making the playoffs, right? And you look at the Eastern Conference, those playoff teams have been decided for quite some time now, right? Those top 8, they all know that they're going to the playoffs. Out here in the West, the Oilers, we didn't know if they were going to make the playoffs back in January, right? And without some Herculean efforts by Draisaitl and McDavid over the past 2 months. Plus, some other guys have picked up their games as well. But those guys have been unbelievable and an integral part of the Oilers on this run of what they're doing right now. And I think that's way more important to towards voting for an MVP. And I think someone said it on it was at Owanek today. So then there should be the only one that really matters is the Ted Lindsay, and maybe there should be a MOP award, like most outstanding player or
as voted by the media. Like, is that what you're thinking? Or?
Yeah, I think something like that, because I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense for Matthews, although he's, let's say it, he's the best goal scorer in the league. Like, he can beat goalies from everywhere and in any type of way. But I just don't think he's that big a deal to the Toronto Maple Leafs in their playoff push, so to speak, compared to some other guys.
I can't wait to see how this thing sorts itself out. It should be pretty good down the stretch, that's for sure. I think you can make a case that, I don't know if this even comes across as crazy. If it does, punch me with the new setup we've got. You can do that. I think make a case that Connor McDavid's the best player on the Edmonton Oilers, and Leon Draisaitl might be the most valuable. Simply because Leon Draisaitl goes out there, takes important faceoffs for you. Leon Draisaitl goes out and penalty kills for you, and Leon Draisaitl's in every offensive opportunity that Connor McDavid's in, as well. So, look, from an Oilers perspective, they're just extremely fortunate to have both of these guys, and the rest of the team's playing pretty well around them right now. And I think there's some potential to see them do a little bit of damage in the postseason, and we can continue with that conversation. New game coming up. Go ahead, Gager. Go ahead.
Nah, it's not a big deal. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. Is it hockey related, or is this just something you need to... Okay. Later in a different episode, or why not right now?
I don't have anything to back it up, but okay. I think just since Woodcroft's been coach, McDavid and Draisaitl haven't played together 5-on-5 as much as they have in the past. Very little. Yeah. The only time you see them a lot is either in overtime or on the power play, right?
Or late in periods. He'll spot them very rarely. Late in a period.
Very rarely, even then. Like, we could have an episode on just how Woodcroft's playing those two compared to some of these older and more experienced coaches who always seem to go back to the nuclear option.
That's a good point. New game coming up. 2 Guys Showdown. It's going to be like a Family Feud style. There's 5 names on the board. And you play and pass and run the table. So that's going to be fun. We got 2 categories today that we'll dive into for that. Figured with just the 3 of us now, might as well have a new game that we can slide in here. But let's dive into it. We got to talk about it. And, I'm going to selfishly just go first here on this one, just because I want to get your guys' thoughts. And Cass, I know we talked about it a little bit today, but maybe a little bit of a different audience here. And that is the entire thing that went down with Trevor Zegras and the Anaheim Ducks and Jay Beagle and the Coyotes. And I mean, it's 2-0. Let's just go back to that game. It's 2-0. Zegras with another, didn't even have to go all the way up on this one, kind of just scooped it up, wrapped it around, tucked it home. So it was 3-0. He scored the 3-0 goal there. And then when the issue really started, it was 5-0. The puck's under the goaltender. Zegras with a late poke. Well, not even really a late poke, but a poke. And then the whistle went. If you watch it, he pokes, whistle goes. Beagle comes in, cross-checks him. Now, it's weird because it's this discussion that frustrates me. It's not even anything that happened. I mean, if you're going to poke at somebody's goalie, I would expect you're probably expecting to get a cross-check in the back. And if you cross-check one of a team's stars in the back, you're probably expecting a scrum to happen. And then that happens. And if you're hopping into a scrum, maybe you should expect that some gloves are going to be dropped along the way as well. So I don't really have an issue with anything that happened on that play. The discussion came up because Tyson Nash laid it out as fact that the Coyotes were just pissed off because the Ducks have this skill, and if you're going to play with skill, it's going to have to come back and, maybe eat one every once in a while. So I'm not even really sure what aspect of this is really firing people up. But, Cass, you go first on this one, man. Like, where do you come out on this?
It's the skill comment. They're like, oh, this is barbaric. Oh, so barbaric. The Tyson Nash.
Like, if you're going to skill it up type of thing.
Right. But I think they're taking the comment out of context. The more I thought about this, is that you have a team that's running up the score, like you're going to respond to that. Like, so if I look back, and I can't remember which 2 teams it was NCAA basketball. You got a team that was up by 20 points, and the coach calls a timeout with 3 seconds left. At the team that's up 20 points, and it's, then you see a response from the other team where they go and they intentionally foul, and then they go and intentionally foul again, and then the coaches get into it after the game. Well, why would that happen? Does that mean the NCAA in basketball is this barbaric old thing? It's like, well, no. If you're running away with it and you're winning, and then you do something that would be, let's call it, not sportsmanlike, or that people would consider not sportsmanlike, you're going to get a reaction. So from a skill standpoint, you're up a whole bunch of goals. You do the lacrosse style, Michigan style, Zegras style goal, and then you start spearing the goalie. Yeah, if you're going to try to skill it up in that regard,
I don't know if he speared the goalie. Said, like he poked for a
That's
puck,
what we called it. When you try to poke the goalie, that's what we called.
Okay.
That's what we called it. Like you try to spear, like you're trying to poke the goalie to get the puck loose. So you're
just
pushing with the front of your stick to poke the puck loose. Like we called it spearing the goalie. So you're doing that. So regardless, you're in the goalie's face, and you're all over him in that. Yes, you're going to get a response from it. So if Nash would have taken this and worded it or phrased it a little bit differently to clarify, I don't think anyone should have a problem really with what he said. And it's the bottom line. Like if you're going to try to rub a win in somebody in a physical game, they're going to try to pop you in the mouth. And I don't care if that's basketball. I don't care if that's football. I don't care if that's hockey. Like if you have a football game and you're running up the score, like let's just say you're up by 30 points, 40 points in a football game, and you start throwing Hail Marys just every play, like just trying to do something like that, like, or start running, let's say, special trick plays where you're up by 40 points and you start running trick plays
when you're up 40.
Right, exactly. Like you're trying to do stuff like that. Like, what do you want to bet at the bottom of those scrums? Guys are going to get into it a little bit, and someone's going to try to step on your fingers with cleats. Like it's going to happen regardless of the sport when you do that. And that's, I think how it was perceived, and probably how Nash perceived it as well. So I don't know. The more I go, the less problem I have with it. If I was going to say there's an issue towards the end, Beagle could have let up a little bit.
He'd won that fight at that point, right?
He won that fight at that point. Yeah. So maybe let it go a little bit earlier. I could get where people would be like, "Oh, that was unnecessary," but the rest of it, I'm kind of like, no problem with him throwing the first punch. No problem with him coming into a scrum. Guys want to get into a scrum. That's a potential outcome of said scrum. So, yeah.
Gager, what do you got, buddy?
Well, for our baseball fans that had to switch to our podcast since now baseball's back, but just it's like the bat flip, right? Like I don't understand why everyone goes nuts over a guy flipping a bat. Like this is the hockey equivalent of bat flipping, basically. So you have Tyson Nash, who has been talking about and watching all these Coyotes games, feels like he's part of the team a little bit. He just sees another team kind of running the score up and doing this. They're, like Cass said, you do get frustrated at that point, right? I don't think this had anything to do with the Zegras goal at all. This was just a point in the game where, you're up by 5 and you're still trying to dig under the goalie. Like, how do you not expect to get some sort of face wash or stick or slash if you're in there digging at the goalie at the end of a game? Like that's just common knowledge. And man, I just say protect yourself. If you're going to go in there and jump on a guy for jumping on your player and you see him drop your gloves, man, drop yours and grab on. That's or
immediately turtle.
Yeah, like something. I mean, obviously I wasn't a fighter or anything like that. And there was probably a few guys that I would have been scared to fight in hockey, but I knew that I could, if push came to shove and I was against someone, I could hold on for dear life, I think, and try to wrestle this guy to the ground, hopefully without taking too many Barney Rebels to the back of the head, right? So I would say defend yourself a little bit better than what you did. And I mean, you got to expect that. That's every sport, like Cass said.
Well said. I like that. Good breakdown. Gager, didn't you fight? Didn't you? What was the story you said? Wasn't somebody like looking in the crowd at somebody? And what was that in Sweden or something? Didn't you get into a scrap somewhere? What was that?
Yeah, no, I fought in Sweden. It's on YouTube. Okay. I'll send you the link.
You know what? Send me the link. I want to watch that. Tweet it out, and then we'll really break it down at some point.
Okay, yeah. We don't have time right now, but there's a whole story with that too. So
okay, well we'll do that's like an
I think
off-season.
I told that story, didn't
Off-season
I?
episode.
I told that.
Well,
off-season.
you mentioned the story, but I didn't know it was on YouTube. Like I didn't go watch it. I want to go watch it. What would I have to Google? Like Joaquin Gage goes crazy in Sweden.
Gage, you have to get the right keywords. I think it's Gage goalie fight Sweden, and should be good to go.
That up. If you're watching right now, go YouTube and let us know in the comment section. And by the way, if you are watching and you have any questions, throw them in the comment section as well, and I can toss them in the direction of the boys. Let's continue with we got to talk about it, and let's stick with the goalie, Gager. What do we got to talk about, buddy?
Well, I love this time of year. Just the level of skill and where these guys are and these playoff races. The hockey has been tremendous, I think, over the past few days. And even, last weekend the weekend before, we see the Oilers kind of get thumped, and then, Calgary looks so good, and then the Oilers play a couple of these teams, and Calgary loses to these teams that the Oilers beat. Like, it is so tight. So it's amazing. But what really caught my eye was I watched a lot of these games, and watching the Oilers Blues game, and seeing Ville Husso come in, man, he is going to command a lot of money, I think, come this season, being an unrestricted free agent. Cool story I heard about him, like when I'm losing the other St. Louis goalie's name there.
Binnington.
Binnington. So when Binnington went on that unbelievable run, Husso was actually his partner in the minors, and Husso was kind of the heir apparent, I guess, but was injured, and Binnington was the guy that got called up and went on that run. So they've had this guy thinking that this is going to be their number one later on, and you just saw, even in the Oilers game, when he went in, the whole team just, it was kind of relaxed, and he made like 3 or 4 saves to get them, and almost came back and won that game. Just I think on his unbelievable solid goaltending from that point on. And then I was interested in watching, so I watched him against the Flames, and he matched Markstrom save for save, and took more goals away at the end than Markstrom did. This guy, I would I want to see Skinner, but man, and a cap situation doesn't look good, but it's going to be too much. But man, this guy's the real deal. If he can keep this together, he's quite the goalie. I think he's going to command a lot of money, because there's going to be a lot of teams looking for his services.
The interesting thing here, Gager, is that they've signed Binnington to $6 million a year through the 26-27 season. So if you've got Binnington at $6 million, how much can you afford to give Husso? And if you want to keep him, which they probably do, he's got a $922 this year. How do you move Binnington? And who's going to want to bring in Binnington at $6 million per? That's an interesting situation. I don't know. I don't know how you manage yourself through that, or get out of it, or how you want to look at it.
Yeah, you're looking for someone to give to him, retain some, and go with Husso, I think, because this guy, he's good, man. He is really, really good. Just as, like, there's that feeling when you watch a goalie, like, since you always see this with really good teams, they just know he's going to make that save, and that's how the Blues kind of played that way. Like, they just knew he was going to bail them out. He just provides that confidence back there, compared to when Binnington played, right? They were scrambling and all over the place. It was almost like they were trying to do too much because they didn't want the other team to shoot. All of a sudden he goes in and they go, oh, we're okay. He's going to stop these things. And of course they came back and almost won that game, and then beat the Flames in a great, great hockey game.
Moral of the story is, don't sign goalies to contracts worth over $5 million.
Screw you, Cat.
For how long? Cass, what would you say? Like 3-year deals for goalies? $5 million? Like,
I'm not opposed to a 4-year deal or a 5-year deal, but it can't be, if you're going that long, it can't be over $4 million. I've said it before, like, until the cap continues to go up significantly, I don't think between your two goalies you can have a cap hit of more than $8 million between the two. Oof. That's it. That's all your goalies
it's
are
like
worth.
10% of your cap, right? That's what you're
10% of your cap. which is significant. But if you want to have success up and down your lineup, like you got to have goalies that fit underneath that. So if that means you have one goalie for $5 million, fine, great, good. You can pay him that much, but your other guy's got to be 3 or under, which means your $5 million guy has got to be a pretty big stud. So I just
or you go 7-1, I guess, if he's really good.
If he's really good. But
you got a Husso on a
really
entry level deal. Right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So do you guys think there's
But
any
they
way
can't
that the Blues have Binnington and Husso next year?
They can't, can they? Because
Yeah, I
Husso's
don't
unrestricted. There's no.
He's going
Oh, that's a good
There's
point. He's
no
going to get
way.
more somewhere else. Yeah, unless they can move Binnington and sign him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Boy,
no
that's-
hope. They would have to move Binnington first, and then hopefully have Husso.
Yeah, because if not, I mean, you totally screw yourself. Oh, people already know you're screwed on the Binnington trade value situation anyway. Because the only reason you want to move him is to free up the money to keep Husso around. So yeah, you're selling him for dollars on the penny or pennies on the dollar. You guys are the financial guys. I have no idea. Pennies, dollars, it doesn't matter to me. All right, Cass, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Oh, I'm gonna try not to get too fired up about this.
Don't you dare swear, Cass. This can't be the time.
So, big news over the weekend. Keith Yandle, who just very recently was crowned the NHL's Iron Man, his streak stopped. 989 games. Wasn't because of injury. It was an organizational decision. I have respect for Mike Yeo. I played for Mike. I have respect for Chuck Fletcher. I played for Chuck. This was a stupid decision. A ridiculously, historically stupid decision. You stop a guy from just a purely PR standpoint in your team in the community. You stop a guy from getting to 1,000 games. Iron Man. 11 games to go. After that 11 games, sure, whatever. Sit him out, healthy scratch him. I understand your justification. You want to get young players in there. Good, great. What kind of a look is it? And what does it say to players in your organization? What does it say to players outside of your organization that you want to bring in, that you want to sign with a team, that you want to be here long term, to say, listen, you get this milestone and you're pushing for 1,000 games played, Iron Man, a chance like to get to quadruple digits here, and you strip that away from him. Of course Yandle's going to be a professional publicly. Of course he is. He's too good of a guy, too good of a teammate not to. That's one of the reasons he's been in the lineup for so many games in a row. But to me, it was a low blow from an organization to sit and to do that. Again, I get the justification. Let the guy get to 1,000 games for a record book standpoint. Stop him at 1,001. I don't care, but let the guy get to 1,000 games. I don't know what you were thinking here. It was ridiculous. It's one of those things that, and as a player, you would see teams do things like this, and it would happen internally, and you would roll your eyes, and it would taint the organization. It would taint the GM. It would taint the coach, where your respect and your opinion of them would diminish. And I guarantee you that across the league, people that saw this, their respect for the Philadelphia Flyers, their respect for Mike Yeo, their respect for Chuck Fletcher dropped, because they're going to look at this and they say, well, what if I was just about at a milestone and maybe I wasn't playing as well as I could be? Are they going to try to screw me out of that? That's what guys are going to think. That's what I think. That's what I guarantee you everyone in that locker room, aside from maybe the young guy that got to play and to go into the lineup, is thinking. Like, they're all like, what a Bush League move by the organization. I think it's a horrible look. It bothered me then. It bothers me now. It will continue to bother me in the future. I feel so bad for Yandle. Again, I have respect for Mike Yeo. I have respect for Chuck Fletcher. They're good people. This was a horribly stupid decision by them to scratch him. Let him get to 1,000 games, you donkeys.
So, did you like the decision?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Real smart. Good, classy look for the organization. You want to be known as a classy organization, this is what you do.
I'll be the advocate of the devil here. And look, he's minus 39 this season. He probably should have been scratched 2 months ago, man. Like, I think they've probably but even on my own argument here, I'd say Philly sucks anyway. It's not going to change anything.
There you go. They suck anyway. You want to have something for your fan base to cheer about. You want to have something that you can take as a positive for this season, something cool in the news that you can have that's not like we suck again and we lose. Can be, hey, look, our player got 1,000 games, Iron Man streak. How cool is this? He's in the record books. It was over 1,000 games. Super, super cool. He did it as a Philadelphia Flyer. Like, scratching him isn't going to get you in the playoffs.
Gager, where do you come out on this?
For 11 games.
I mean, but playing him might have taken you out of the playoff picture anyway. So, Gager, where do you come out on this?
They weren't. Look at that. They weren't.
Well, I know, but he had an awful season. Like, Gager, where do you come out on this?
See, at first I didn't know if this was going, like, if he'd never even sat out. So I was thinking this is his 1,000th game that he's played. So I thought, what a stupid thing to miss out on. Give him the silver stick, and he's got the Iron Man thing, but he's almost played 1,100 games. So once I saw that he's already reached that milestone, I was kind of like, whatever. I mean,
1,000 in a row though isn't cool enough for you. Like, that's kind of neat, but
yeah, it's Keith Yandle, like, but I just don't think it's. I don't think it's that big a deal, really. Like, cool that he played that long. Obviously, he's a great talent to play in the NHL that long. But I mean, like you said, Dusty, he's minus 39. So, I understand the business, and they wanted to get, from what he said, anyways, is to get young guys in. I just, at first I thought it was bad, but now I'm like, I don't care.
I like seeing Cass shaking his head. We're not going to convince Cass on the other side of this.
It infuriates me because you know what this falls into? It falls into the same category as this to me. Say you have a young player from Edmonton, grew up in Edmonton, young guy. He gets called up.
Play him at home, yeah.
And you don't play him at home, and he went out, and he had like guys in the team, and this happened recently in the Dallas organization. You had a guy playing like close to home. He had guys in the team. Everybody chipped in, like were helping buying tickets because he had like 50 people that came to the game, and they scratched him. Like, it's stuff like that earns you horrible reputations as a team. And it's stuff like that. And I know it's a business, and I know there's decisions that have to be made, and some of them are challenging and some of them are hard. But to me, it's just a no-brainer. You should have let him get to 1,000 games. Now you're going to have, Phil Kessel himself probably surpass Yandle and maybe get it. But, oh, geez. Like, it's
a true warrior.
Yeah. Phil Kessel, the ultimate warrior.
All right, good discussion here, boys. Let's wrap up the episode here with the new game, the Two Guys Showdown, where imagine me being Steve Harvey, and you guys are the two Family Feud families, and I've got category and then the top 5 answers from the NHL statistical category. We do this with a lot of different things, but I just decided to go with. I got 2 categories here. We're kind of a practice one and then one that's a little bit more difficult. So buzz in if you know the answer. Okay, top 5 answers are on the board here. Two Guys Showdown. Here we go. Top 5 defensemen in NHL scoring right now. Gager.
Roman Josi.
All right, that is the top answer. Pass or play, Gager. You got to get the other 4.
I will play.
All right, Gager's going to play. Cass, be ready to steal. Here we go, Gager.
Okay, we got Josi. We got Makar.
Makar's number 2. Correct.
We've got Rangers guy. Oh, I shouldn't even say that. Oh God, why can't I think of that? Let's go.
How many strikes does he get?
I was going to say he gets 3 strikes, but how much time do I give him?
Yeah, you can't give me that much time because who else?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's 1 strike. You still have 2 more.
Who else?
Why did you choose to play this?
I thought I had them all.
5.
Is
4.
Johansson one?
Who?
I don't know. Just throwing a name out. I don't know.
You get one more. This is the worst start to a game ever. Cass is just licking his chops.
Oh, God.
5,
Why can't I think?
4, 3.
I'm done.
2.
Too much pressure.
Oh my God, Cass! You only need one to win.
Who is Mr. Fox?
Adam Fox. He's number 4 on the list. Victor Hedman is number 3 on the list, and number 5 on the list is Chris Letang. Your top 5 D-men scoring.
Smoke.
How about Letang? He's got 60 points this stage of his career. Great season. Great when he stays healthy, man. He's a stud.
So I didn't know Letang. I knew Hedman and Fox. I knew Hedman,
Yeah.
Fox, McCarr, and Yossi, and I didn't know the 5th.
Gager, how did you not come up with Hedman or Fox?
Well, I didn't think Hedman was up there, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah, he's always up there,
But-
man. Yeah.
He's always up there.
Oh,
Top 5.
boy.
Top
You know what?
10.
I'm not even doing the second one. We'll just take that for our first experience, and we'll get back to it again maybe next Monday, because that was interesting. I had the other one was top 5 power play goals this season. Kreider, Draisaitl, Rantanen, Josh Norris, and then Alexander Ovechkin's tied with a bunch of dudes at 14. But that was the other category that we are going to look at.
That would have been a tough one.
Yeah, that would have been well, now that I know how we've set the standard here, I'm going to have to ease up on it a little bit, I think. But, yeah, good episode. The new look, 3 wide, I like it. I think it looks pretty sharp. And we'll be back with another episode on Thursday. Katz, I think you mentioned it last week, but let's plug the roast of Gager here another time. May 13th, you talked about the community table. Gager, you hear about this community table?
I've got meetings with everybody this week to find out everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can tell you right now and save you some time. So
Aren't your meetings with
roll in
Cass?
and you look- Probably. The community table is for people that don't have like a big group to go with, or if they're buying a single ticket, or maybe it's just 2 people that want to go, that want to get to know people a little bit more, that aren't sitting at like a corporately bought table or anything. Is you can put a note in when you're buying a ticket that you want to be part of the community table, which is just, people that are hockey fans, people that are Walking Engage fans, people that are roast fans, comedy fans, people that just want to meet other people. Maybe they're getting plugged into the community here in Edmonton. Just an opportunity to really have a group of people that all are open to getting to know one another. That's the concept behind the community table.
Tinder table.
I mean, if you want to roll with it that way, that's the decision you can make. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it the community table.
Episode 217, the Tinder table. Yeah,
of course you'd go there, Gager. Of course.
Hey, lucky night for somebody, I guess. That'll be fun. All right, well, that'll be good. We'll talk about that a little bit more, obviously, when we come back with another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. We'll be back on Thursday, which will be a huge game day, back-to-backs for the Oilers there. That's a big one against the Kings on Thursday night, no doubt about that. So we'll get you set for it there. For Walking Gage and Matt Cassian, I am Dustin Nielsen. Thank you for downloading. If you've not yet subscribed, if you've been watching, subscribe to Two Guys and a Goalie on all your podcasting platforms. And boys, we'll talk to you in a couple days.
Later, boys.